So summer is here in Vancouver, so today I'm back in New Westminster, taking the bus and then the SkyTrain and revisiting one of my favorite cafes around this New Westminster SkyTrain area, walking down the street. Here is the Hideout Cafe. They have lovely houseplants here on the common table and a sitting area outside. I ordered their Thai-style chicken wrap and tomato basil soup with a cup of latte. Here's the interior, very old-fashioned, but the food and drinks are really good. So I was really hungry this time. I didn't sketch my lunch, but I'm going to sketch my cup of latte after a few sips. Here's my current sketchbook. Sneak peek at some of my recent pages. So yeah, on this blank page, I'm going to sketch my cup of latte. So I'm going to improvise on the page composition as usual, starting with the ellipse shape of the cup, the body shape, and the handle, and a very interesting three-dimensional shape, the brim of the cup, the liquid line of the latte, and the distorted shape of the latte art, some bubbles floating on top. Here's my quick drawing, which takes me about 3 minutes to do. Now it's time to paint watercolors. That will take a little longer. Yeah, so as I usually mention in my tutorial videos, every cup of tea and coffee is always different from one another. So I started the first layer with diluted yellow ochre, wet into wet, some orange brown, and some darker browns for the next move. And now I'm ready to paint the inside and outside of the cup, just wetting it with some leftover yellowish color for the reflections on the white surface, using leftover bluish gray, and leaving some almost white areas for the shine of the ceramic surface. Next layer, purplish gray, containing less water compared to the first layer, some stains on the inside wall of the cup, some darker browns for the coffee area. Yeah, so when I'm painting a white surface, I usually like to use 2 to 3 different values of grays, and I like to mix my own gray with cobalt blue, royal purple, and a tiny bit of green. So just painted the shadow using kind of a purplish gray, and that's it. And now I really want to sketch the outside sitting area with the customers under the umbrella. So I'm starting with this pyramid shape of the umbrella that I can see 2 sides of the pyramid, 2 triangles, and then the inside, the wires merging into one stand, yeah, which is a straight vertical post all the way to the floor, and then finishing up the inside of the pyramid shape of the umbrella. Yeah, so the stand of the umbrella is black, so I just use solid brown ink to color that in, starting to draw the first lady here, the profile view. Her back, her upper arm, and the chair she's sitting on, and the other arm bending, and her leg, yeah. And just focus on seeing the larger shapes of the body parts, including the torso, the elbow, the thigh, and the calf area. Now I'm moving on to draw the next lady, starting with the shape of her hair, her face, and simple facial expression, and her ponytail, her cup of drink in front of her, and her collar area. Yeah, their little round table. The other side of her body. And the back view of anybody, I think, is the easiest position to draw. So I just started drawing the hair of the lady first, her back showing the foreshortened arms, and the back of the chair. Yeah, so if you're starting out to sketch people, I recommend you to start sketching people's back views, so they will never notice you sketching them, and it's very safe. And just drawing the pants of this lady sitting in the middle, and the pants is black. This is the only man here in the group. Profile view, collar, and the legs showing a little bit. There we go. So here is a little group of 4, and I think they are working in an office nearby. Okay, so far these are the main elements of my sketch, the people under the umbrellas. Okay, so that's my central focus. Now the rest of the things I'm going to draw is going to be just the supporting elements. the corner of this concrete building. Yep. In a combination of 2 to 3 rectangular shapes. And the foliage, yeah, all around. Just starting to add these little leaves behind. So the stand of the umbrella and the side of that concrete building is giving me a small area to focus on. And then drawing the railings, yeah, right behind these people. And some more leaves on the left side of the umbrella stand. Just focusing on one small area at a time. The more details you're drawing, the more spaces you're dividing. Yeah, just focusing on one small block at a time. Now I'm moving on to the next block, the area above the umbrella and below the edge of the paper. Yeah, it's around this small area over here, some little branches. Yeah, in very natural little folds. So an urban setting with foliage is always so inspiring to do. And yeah, keep drawing. Okay, so now I'm drawing the edge of this heritage building, the eave area, and then the shape of the roof in the slanting line and the shingles on the edge of the roof. So when we're doing urban sketching, you do not have to include every single part of that building. So part of that building could be cut off. Make sure you just have a focus. My focus this time is the people under the umbrella. So this building is just a supporting element. So I do not have to include the entire shape inside my sketch. And I'm sure the viewers are able to imagine the look of this entire building without seeing the whole thing. And just using these loose horizontal lines to define the shingles and the window with a lovely brick pattern above it. Yeah, and below this structure there is one more bush, yeah, with leaves swaying in the wind and these little branches supporting the clusters of leaves. And the group of people are still there, just relaxing, enjoying their lunchtime together. So when I'm drawing these leaves, I just pay attention to the angle that they're dangling down. This is the way that I summarize them. So it's just not really possible to get every single leaf that's out there onto the sketch. So I always use a summarizing approach. Just pay attention to the angle of how these little branches are dangling down, usually around like a 45-degree angle towards the left or towards the right. Yeah, and some more around the bottom. This is actually a foreground little bush with the leaves looking bigger compared to the ones behind the people. And there is another lady here kind of hiding behind this bush, having her lunch as well, so just included her. And now I think I'm ready to finish the railing area with some more vertical bars. And this section contains a bunch of these intersecting vertical and horizontal lines. And yeah, so that's it for the railing area. Adding another window, hiding behind the bush. And just writing down the day and date. It was Friday, June the 28th. And a little note. And I'm ready to paint again. So as usual, I'm going to be using my Holbein brand water brushes, large and medium tip, Mungyo watercolors, and sip my coffee a bit more before moving on to the painting process. So as usual, I'm going to start painting the sky first. I just wetted the sky area with clear water. And I just grabbed some cerulean blue. And using clean horizontal brush marks to apply this color. Yeah, when I'm painting sky, I always use horizontal brush marks to make the area look very organized. Slight bit of brush marks showing is fine to show the air turbulence. Yeah, so when you're painting watercolors, it's okay to have some traces of brush marks to get some energy flowing in your picture. You don't have to make everything super flat. adding another quick layer of more concentrated cerulean blue because the sky is actually a more intense blue that day. Really depending on the weather, the intensity of the blue is not the same every time. Now I'm ready to paint the foliage area. As usual, just wetting that area with clear water. So the paint is going to spread out smoothly. And grabbing some lemon yellow, mix it with a bit of yellow ochre and lime green for the first layer. This is the illuminated area. So yeah, I have a beautiful lighting condition to paint. And I'm starting with this super bright illuminated area by mixing a lot of yellows into lime green. Yeah, around this part as well. The sun, I believe, is around the middle, slightly towards the right. Yeah, so when we're painting foliage, so first identify the lightest tone of green first. Usually it's yellow-green. Yeah, so that's the areas of brightness that I see. Now, second color, some mid-tones. So as you can see, I'm mixing Viridian green with a little bit of lime green. This is around the bottom 50% of this cluster of leaves. It was noon, so the sun is pretty much in the middle of the sky. The top 50% of the tree is illuminated. The bottom 50% is kind of shaded. Yeah, just loosely blending these two green values together without any harsh lines or boundaries. Okay, so now I think I want to add some medium dark tones. So this is just pure Viridian green, yeah, for this part. I think the building on the right is projecting a shadow onto the right side of this tree. Yeah, but it's still subtly illuminated, even in the shaded area. So nothing in the world is 100% shaded. In the shaded area, there's always, some slight bit of bright spots. That's a little hard to see, but it's there. I'm doing the same thing for this little shrub here in the foreground, starting with yellow-green and some medium greens. And just using my cleaned water brush to do some small blendings for the foliage here. And don't forget the negative spaces behind the railings. Now I just cleaned my brush. Now I'm ready to paint this heritage brick building by mixing red and burnt sienna together to get this terracotta tone for the exterior of this building. Starting with slightly watery version of this red-brown or terracotta. And a little bit in between the holes of the bush. Second layer, more intense red-brown. Yeah, so there is a nice sense of depth if you're painting everything using at least 2 layers of different tones of that same color. Same idea for the umbrella here. I think is an echoing color with the terracotta building. It's kind of like an old-fashioned orange-brown. And grabbing some burnt sienna and mix a little bit of cobalt blue into it to get a darker brown for the first layer of these rooftops. And in a pretty watery version for the first layer because I want to have a sense of value transition. Now, getting a brownish gray by mixing burnt sienna into leftover green and blue. Yeah, to get this natural color of the concrete. So nothing in the world is too boring to be painted. Gray things, they could have different kinds of grays, like brownish gray, bluish gray, and greenish gray. And now, just grabbing some leftover brown to paint the branches of this shrub here in the foreground, right outside the window. And so far, I really like the balance of these warm and cold colors. Some more extra greens behind the railings. And now it's time to have some more intense shadows. So I just mixed pink and royal purple and a little bit cobalt blue together. This is the shaded area of the umbrella. Yeah, the inside. And this right side of the pyramid shape. Okay, so now this umbrella looks much more 3-dimensional with this purplish shading on top of the first layer of the original color of the umbrella. Now I'm ready to mix some more intense green shadows. So I just mix Viridian green with cobalt blue and a little bit of burnt sienna. So these areas on the left and right side, on the very bottom of this tree, is extremely shaded. So I want to make sure the contrast is really high. Yeah, by boldly adding this one more layer for the foliage. Yeah, and of course this paint, as you can see, is less watery, containing mostly paint pigment, minimal amount of water. Yeah, so when a light source, in this case the sunlight, is hitting directly on an object, the contrast is very high. Yeah, so there's actually a higher range of green values in this case. Some more little choppy brush marks for the bottom part, the parts that I see. Yeah, every situation is different, because you always get shadows from other things landing on an object. And the illuminated side of foliage may not be 100% illuminated. So there are actually little shadows on the bottom of each little branch on this illuminated area. This is still the same dark shade of green, but containing more water. So it's not way too intense landing on that bright area. The bottom, yeah, some more cobalt blue to intensify the shade, as well as less water. Yeah, very choppy little dots, carefully made behind the railings. And I also switched to my medium tip water brush, and so the tip of the brush can stay less watery. Okay, so I'm able to apply these concentrated brush marks, and going slowly, be aware not to overpaint the bright areas. I love the little hole of light on the right, on the bottom right of the umbrella's canopy. Some more dark sepia to shade these branches. Okay, so now I want to mix a brownish gray by mixing a lot of cobalt blue into burnt sienna to shade the bottom of these eaves. So the tip of the larger eave on top is a little illuminated by the sunshine. Okay, now moving on to the next little move. I'm just mixing more red and burnt sienna for another layer of the exterior of the building. Okay, so now it's time to paint more intense gray areas, like the next layer of these rooftops. And I want to shade these layers of for this concrete building, the shadow from the part above. So this seemingly boring concrete building, it looks much more dynamic with this extra layer of shading. And skin color for these people is a mix of orange and red, diluted with a bit of water for their faces. And painting this blonde lady's hair and dark-haired lady here. So the hair on the three-dimensional head is contains some value transitions. The railing is the old-fashioned turquoise green. So, and also having some concrete sections. The floor is also concrete. So this is the final polishing stage. I'm just doing some small adjustments and some, final tiny little polish here and there. And also painting these people's outfits. All of them, they're wearing white shirts and black suits. So instead of using black, I actually mix my own blue-violet kind of gray to paint these people mostly. Leaving some white and almost white spots on these people's outfits to suggest the bending body areas, the highlights. The human body contains many three-dimensional big and medium shapes. And some shadow and shaded terracotta colors for this heritage building. And lastly, I want to paint the shaded areas for the foreground shrub using the leftover green shade, just the bottom 50%. And here is a look of my finished sketch. So in total, I spent close to 2 hours at this cafe having lunch and doing this sketch. It's really nice to talk to the owner, Mel, and her husband again. They're very happy that I came back to do another sketch at their cafe. So before heading home, I decided to do another sketch of this restaurant building. Well, this used to be a train station many years ago. And I always pass by this building every time I drop by New Westminster, and I really want to sketch it. So here I am sitting inside a bus stop and just getting the line works done first, which took me about 20 minutes to draw, and then another 20 minutes painting watercolors to capture the spirit of this used to be train station building, now a restaurant. So thank you so much for watching this video, everyone. If you like it, please click like and leave me a comment below. Subscribe to my channel for weekly updates, and I will see you around in the next tutorial video very soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.